The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has reinstated the Advanced Congress of Democrats, Progressive People's Alliance and 20 other political parties deregistered by the Independent National Electoral Commission.
The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has reinstated Advanced Congress of Democrats, Progressive People's Alliance and 20 other political parties deregistered by the Independent National Electoral Commission. In a unanimous decision, the court declared as illegal, unconstitutional, null and void the judgment of the Federal High Court upholding the Independent National Electoral Commission's action deregistering the political parties. The four-man panel led by Justice Shodipe Lokulo held that the deregistration was illegal, having failed to follow due process. The court also held that INEC's actions were not in compliance with Section 225, subsection A of the 1999 Constitution as amended, as they did not indicate reasons for the deregistration of the political parties. INEC had claimed that the deregistered parties breached their requirements for registration as they failed to win at least 25% of votes cast in one state of the Federation during the presidential election.
Thank you, Timothy Yusuf. Now joining us live via Skype is INEC National Commissioner for Information, Mr. Festus Okoye. Thank you, Mr. Okoye, for joining us. I know we just took you out of a meeting, but thank you for joining Political Update.
Thank you. Yeah.
Let's look at it very quickly. We have a judgment there. Are you rushing quickly to comply, or are there any other issues to consider?
No, there are challenges with the judgment. The commission is a law-abiding institution, and we have a history of obedience to court orders. But on the 29th day of July, 2020, the National Unity Party of Nigeria that lost a suit it filed before the Federal High Court went to the Court of Appeal and lodged an appeal. And the Court of Appeal delivered judgment affirming the powers of the Independent National Electoral Commission to deregister political parties under Section 225A of the Constitution. So we are really surprised when this particular judgment came yesterday. So the implication is that we have two conflicting judgments, and we are not in a position to pick or choose which one to obey. So we have decided as a commission to approach the Supreme Court. Since the National Unity Party had already approached the Supreme Court, we want to approach the Supreme Court and let us have some level of finality in relation to the powers of the commission to deregister political parties.
All right, while this process is going on, will status quo remain, or will you first respect this pronouncement?
No, I'm telling you that we have two conflicting orders.
Okay.
One says that we have the right to register political parties. Another says that we don't have the right to deregister political parties.
Okay.
And we are not in a position to pick or choose and to obey.
Okay.
So we are going to approach the Supreme Court, and the status quo will remain there.
All right, let's move on very quickly. Are you watching events in Edo and Ondo State keenly? And what is INEC's position, especially with all the drama from last week and some of the claims and counter-claims of, violence and all that?
Well, we have advised the political parties and their candidates and their supporters to pull back from the use of inciting and incendiary language. And we have also advised them to eschew violence, because there will be consequences if they do not eschew violence. And from the reports we are getting, they are pulling back. And by next week, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission and national commissioners will move to Edo State for a stakeholders engagement, and also to meet with key political actors in terms of the campaign councils of the political parties, and then let them know the consequences of proceeding the way they are proceeding. So they understand what we are saying, and they are pulling back, and that will be good for the conduct of the election.
All right, before I let you go, last weekend you had your first election in the COVID-19 era. Any observations moving forward, especially for the gubernatorial elections coming in Edo and Ondo states?
Well, it was a test run for the commission, and I'm happy to report that one, the election was very peaceful. That secondly, people respected the issue of wearing of face masks or face covering. Third, we provided all the pharmaceutical interventions that we were asked to provide. We only had very few challenges in terms of physical distancing. But it is a learning curve. We have learned valuable lessons from that particular election, and we are going to improve tremendously with Edo and Ondo governorship elections.
We've been speaking with the INEC Commissioner for Information. Thank you very much, Mr. Festus Okoye, for joining us. We might still call you in the course of the week or maybe next week to give us some updates. Thank you very much for taking time out to join us on the program.
Thank you so much.
All right, a pandemic rages, but life must continue. While it continues, strict adherence to protocols must be observed to avoid high infection level, which could cripple the economy and obliterate the laudable efforts made so far. Let's get some updates from Monday's briefing.
Subnationals deploy resources, deploy manpower, collect samples, search, detect, test, and take into isolation and provide care, we will see much bigger figures. For one test that we have confirmed, the likelihood is that 7 would have escaped. So to give you a very good picture of the figures we are talking about, multiply what we have today by 7 of the rates of infections that have probably spread all over this number of local governments.
Our focus is still to reduce fatality to less than 1%. Not only with preventive measures, but also with a strategy that encourages citizens to report early for treatment and for hospitals to attend to all patients in distress.
All right, joining us is Honorable Chinedu Benjamin Obidegwe, representing Anambra East and West Federal Constituency. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
We've been talking about COVID-19 for a while now, but life must return to normal. What are the experiences so far, especially in your interactions?
Yeah, thank you very much. I must have to start quickly because no time. The pandemic caught the whole world unprepared. Nigeria is not an exception. But it became very obvious that we cannot continue lockdown and shutting down the borders and everything. Life must continue. One of my experience coming from the state where I am, I'm representing here, Anambra East and West. We talk of Anambra State. We have opened all the markets. The economy is going on. But one thing is there. The governor of Anambra State was very, very fervent on making sure that everybody must use your face mask. If you are in the vehicle, you use your face mask. If you are in the market, you must use your face mask. We have even a task force in Anambra State to ensure compliance in using face masks. And other things that is there is that there must be other palliative measures to cushion the effect of this pandemic as per the economy. It doesn't end only on distributing rice and every other one. I think I commend CBN that has initiated a way of helping industries. They're even giving loan to some people who want to start businesses and thereabout. So it's one of the strategy. Nigerian economy cannot sustain lockdown for a long time. We have economy that is much. We say that only about 20% that are very, very viable. About 18 Nigerians are very poor. About 20% are managing to live life. Then dependency rate will be very high, especially on ourselves, legislators. We are the last button of receiving the hate every day.
Let me ask you.
Thank you.
I brought you, basically because of the youth content in your environment.
Yeah.
In terms of the mixture. We have riverine, we have agrarian, we have marketers and all that. I mean traders. What has the feedback been like in terms of getting back to business, especially while observing all the protocols? How do you do it? Do you collect money? You sanitize? And we've seen so many things done.
The issue is that we first, apart from what the state government, all of us have complimented the effort of the government, especially most of us that came from the agrarian areas. We have complemented the effort of the government by dishing out some palliative, ranging from sanitizer to food items and even cash. That's why I was talking about dependency ratio. The dependency ratio caused by this pandemic is very high. We have been inundated by calls. Help me, I want to apply fertilizer, I want to do this, I want to herbicide, I want money to pay the workers, and because a long range of 3 months in Nigeria shekel economy is not an easy thing to a common man.
Especially because a lot of people work.
Yes, even the markets were shut down. Everywhere were shut down. Even if you have goods to sell, you can't sell. The borders were shut down. No foreign trip, nothing comes into the town. Do you understand? So everywhere was shut down. So the effect of the pandemic is so enormous, but it called for all hands on deck, all stakeholders. No matter what you have, there's a way you must help others. If you have 10 naira, think about those living around you who don't have even 1 kobo. Manage and help. That's the situation we find ourselves in the country because the economy is in shambles.
Let me ask you this from the legislative perspective. A lot of people have given you some kudos at the beginning of the year. You returned it to January, December, and all that, but nobody expected this pandemic. What are the key aspects and the low-hanging fruits we should begin to look at very quickly, especially in key sectors of the economy that can begin to feel this touch of quote-unquote revival?
Well, when you talk about revival of economy, it's two-way thing. You talk about the economy at first layer, which is national. You talk about the economy at the grassroots level, which are the state, local government, and everything. When you talk about this economy at the local government, reviving the economy is all about, at the local level, it's all about helping the peasant farmers at the local level, the petty traders at the local level, trying to ensure that their business come back to the base. Then how will you do that? Take for example, assuming my own constituency project, I decided I would create a portion of it for a kind of empowerment, agricultural empowerment for my people, in my own constituents. Take for example, giving those that do cultivate yam money to buy seedlings, those that do cultivate rice money for to ensure plowing of their farm, harrowing and whatever, buying of herbicide and all those kind of stuff. At the end of the day, all these things will elevate them from what they would have suffered ordinarily to ensure that they cultivate. And at the end of the day, we make the gain and they will dish out the food. Moment the economy will be at worst when there's no availability of food. And when the cost of food is very high, we are in trouble as a nation. Therefore, all I will say is that Nigeria must pay more attention to agriculture.
All right. We'll come to the politics of it and the issue of, just like we heard from our first contributor, Mr. Festus Okoye, in terms of the observance of, the protocols, especially in political engagements. Let's quickly move to Edo State. Of course, we'll see a few political engagements coming from there. The All Progressives Congress has flagged off its campaign for September 19 gubernatorial election in Edo State. The APC says it will focus on achieving better life for the people through its candidate, Pastor Osage Izeyamu's simple agenda.
Addressing supporters in Igwebe and giving reasons why he is the right candidate, Pastor Osage Izeyamu says he is passionate about the development of Edo and its people, and this informs his desire to serve. He says no part of the state should be left in the dark and promises to lead by example.
By the grace of God, in this government where they come, we go prosper you. We go develop you now. I tell people, say, when you develop place, you must develop the people. By the grace of God, things will change for the better. The P is public-private partnership, which means government must partner with you to make your business better. Whether on a small trader or on a small welder, government will patronize you, government will work with you. Now partnership now we go there for government.
The candidate and his running mate were earlier presented to the Onoji of Igwebe, His Royal Highness Eizogi Eluojerio, and the Okaije South Eastern Land, and all the Onoji where prayers were offered for them. At Ubiaja, the candidate told the people his government will be based on public-private partnership and promised the youth employment.
People need to be empowered. This local government where you just see so, not today. We need to put this here that we employ our youths. As we develop Ubiaja, we develop Ubiaja people. We're going to look for a way to empower them. The B, the public-private partnership.
On the campaign team is the immediate past national chairman of the APC and former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshomole, who lamented the trend where there was no continuity in governance, citing abandonment of projects as an example.
All we owe Edo now is to make up for lost time. We lost 4 years, but by the grace of God, this man will walk faster and faster and faster and will make up for it.
Similarly, the APC is seeking the support of the people of Uromi, Esa Northeast, as September 19 approaches. The campaign team was received by supporters and party faithful in their locality.
Meanwhile, the standard bearer of the People's Democratic Party, Governor Godwin Obaseki, took his campaign train to Edo North. He promised to deliver on some key infrastructure projects.
The Edo State PDP Campaign Council kicked off the Edo North leg of Governor Godwin Obaseki's re-election at Igara and Enwa in Akoko Edo Local Government Council, where the governor promised to build the Igara Technical College.
Assets you have, Ojirami Dam has been down. Obemudia built this dam many years ago. I have been worried because I want that dam to work again. I was given a water because the water they here. When I need that water, they could take to farm also. For you to enjoy the power, you have to be alive.
Yeah. Earlier, the governor was at the palace of the Otaro of Igara, His Royal Highness Oba Emmanuel Adeche Saiki II, to officially inform him of his intentions to run for a second term in office under the platform of the PDP and solicited for his royal blessings. The PDP campaign train has so far visited Akoko Edo Local Government Area, Isako Central, and parts of Isako East Local Government Area. In Isako East, the governorship candidate stated that he will run a post-COVID-19 economy which will give proper recognition to agriculture and the people of Wepawano after the election. At the final lap of the PDP campaign in Akoko Edo 2, the governorship standard bearer and governor of the state called on the people never to be afraid of or concerned about the defection of some lawmakers, as their defection has no effect on the party as the governorship election draws nearer. The visit to other areas in Edo North continues.
All right, campaigns all over, of course. Momentum is high in Edo State. We'll be expecting more also from Ondo State once their own is getting a lot closer. But as a politician, the fair is, we've talked about COVID-19, we've talked about, the protocols. What would be your advice, especially when you see clusters like this and we still think about the pandemic and all that?
Well, one is that the organizers of those party rallies, they should, as a matter of fact, they should make sure that they provide the participants with the face masks, sanitizers in the arena of that where the event is taking place. They shouldn't allow them to buy those things by themselves. If the PDP are organizing or the APC are organizing or whichever party, they should provide those materials needed. Social distance is very difficult at this instance, but you can manage by having those face masks and making sure that within your own political party, you created that task force that will enforce use of it inside that very field. They shouldn't allow people to sit without face masks.
All right, before we go, let's just use the last few minutes to talk security. President Muhammadu Buhari has given strong assurances that the desired security and stability will be restored to the Northeast sub-region and other parts of the country bedeviled by acts of crime and criminality. This followed the adoption of new strategies as well as the acquisition of state-of-the-art military hardware towards reinvigorating the fight against terrorists and other criminal elements undermining national security. It was at a crucial meeting with Northeast Governors Forum.
Members of the Northeast Governors Forum, led by Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State, were in the State House to formally appreciate President Muhammadu Buhari for the steps taken so far in the fight against insecurity and compare notes on the best way forward following renewed hostilities in parts of the sub-region.
The government of the region has commended the efforts of the federal government in taking a bold step with a view to securing the region. And I think security is not only about federal government, there's need for the federal government as well as the states and the local government to come together with a view to providing solutions that will end this crisis in the region.
At the interactive meeting, also attended by Vice President Yemi Oshibaju, Ministers of Defense and Police Affairs, National Security Advisor, Service Chiefs, and the Inspector General of Police, as well as heads of other security agencies, the Northeast Governors Forum made these suggestions.
There is a need for the Nigerian government to address the root causes of the insurgency, which are not limited to endemic poverty, hunger, among others. People need to go back to their farmlands. People need to be resettled in their original homes so that they can start their means of livelihood. This is one of the reasons why insurgents are recruiting more into the sects. We also recommended that police should be empowered with a view to bridging the manpower gap that we are having in the Nigerian military.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who empathized with the people of the Northeast, especially Borno State, reassured them that things will improve very soon.
I assure you, Northeast governors, especially the governor of Borno, that we go to bed and we wake up thinking about you and how to secure our country, because that is the fundamental responsibility of a government, security. And our party, we recognize this. We campaign on the three fundamental issues: security, economy, and fighting corruption. Nigerians, we thank God, understood us and they voted us in. The general report I'm getting, other than the conventional one from the intelligence sources, is that the army should do better. And this is the truth. We will continue to do our best.
President Buhari said,
all right, just reaching us, President Muhammadu Buhari has convened a crucial meeting with the members of the security community of the Nigeria's Governors Forum. The meeting is being held virtually in furtherance of its strategic engagement with critical stakeholders towards stemming the tide of insecurity in the country. We'll be giving you details of that in the course of the day. Before I let you go, find out what's on the program in terms of coming back on an even keel as a nation, especially after about 34 months of the pandemic. Very quickly.
Well, on the issue of coming back as a nation, I will quickly interject towards this issue of insecurity too. It wouldn't be too healthy for us as a nation to return back, open the economies, and now we are facing challenges of insecurity. It's a double barrel at a time, which is very unhealthy for any developing nation like Nigeria.
Thank you very, very much. Today on Political Update, of course, we've had a very useful engagement, of course, with Mr. Festus Okoye, and now Chinedu Benjamin Obadigwe, representing Anambra East and West. That has been Political Update for today. We'll be back on Friday, God willing. Bye for now.